Yo, it's your boy RJ Deed at the Choose to Create podcast. This is episode 7 with the legendary
Costas Schuler.
Yeah, man, I'm with my brother here. We met up over here at GP, General Provision, downtown Fort Lauderdale. And with Choose to Create, we all about creating content, creating photographs, creating videos, and helping businesses properly market themselves. So I figure we create a platform where we can kind of talk about some of the experiences we had with different clients and like how we went about building our company and how we go about marketing our brand as well.
Yeah.
You know, so a quick little introduction. I want you guys to stay tuned for my guy right here. He guy's gonna give you an intro of his self intro.
Background.
Yeah.
My name is Costas Schuler. I'm a graphic designer. I've been doing this for about over 26 years now. I got started. I went to community college and I was supposed to be doing computer science. My dad's an engineer. So he was pushing me to do that. I had to do a lot of math in high school, so I signed up for computer science and never once took any of the classes. So I just started taking art classes, and my first art class was a 3D design class, and I fell in love with that class. I was like 3 o'clock in the morning doing my projects. I'm like, damn, this is what I got to do. So I kept taking art classes. And my dad was like, so how about the computer science? You going to do any of that? I'm like, I'm not feeling that, Dad. And eventually I'm like, I got to pay the bills. So I got into graphic design. So for me, graphic design was the perfect combination of art and sort of analytical. It's analytical. It's like you got to organize space. So it's creative and analytical at the same time. So it was like the perfect for my personality type of what I wanted to do. And so I didn't graduate. I was like a couple classes shy, and I started working for my dad in the book publishing company that he started. Okay.
That's dope. So basically, they kind of wanted you to do more science stuff, and then you kind of just follow your art. Follow your art, right? Yeah. Follow your heart, and you went into the arts and started creating your own stuff and creating things for, I guess. It's funny that you kind of started working with your pops. Like, well,
it's funny because my dad was like, "What are you doing again?" Like every day I'd come home and my mom's like, "What are you doing? What is this graphic design?" And I was like explaining to her, "Here's a magazine. This is what you do." And then next thing you know, my dad starts his company and he hires me to do the book publishing. And finally, my dad and my mother was like, "Oh, that's what you do." So it was perfect.
Yeah, it made sense. Like for me, when I first started doing this whole photography and video stuff, and I remember coming home so proud and like, yo, watch my music video, watch this video I just did, and I put it on the big screen and everything, and it's like, turn that off, turn off that racket. my people was very religious, so they're like, turn off that racket. And, it probably had, I don't think it had any twerking going on, but I don't think it had guns in it neither. But it was like gangster
gangs
music.
And twerking. I mean,
it wasn't any twerking in there. Okay. Any guns in there, okay. But it was cars, and it was a story. I was kind of trying to go for more of like a storytelling type of music video type thing when I first started. I obviously left that music video thing alone because it kind of like for me it kind of became like redundant, like the same type of visuals, and it's kind of boring after that. But like when they didn't understand it. It was like, okay. What is this?
What are you doing?
Turn it off.
What is this?
Yeah.
I started doing, I was actually doing tape cover design and CD cover design for bands. Mm-hmm. So that's how I was trying to get in. When you start, you do a lot of free stuff. I wouldn't recommend it as you get older, as you get more, experience. But when you're starting out, you end up doing a lot of free stuff for your buddies, for their bands and stuff like that. So I'm dating myself because I actually did tape cassette artwork for the fold out. You take it all out. There's all the lyrics and there was this band called Grits that I did their band. I did all their flyers for their shows. It was pretty cool. So, anyways, that's how I got started.
That's what's up, man. I mean, I remember tapes.
Yeah.
I remember tapes. I used to have tapes. I used to have Onyx tapes. I used to have Busta Rhymes tapes. I used to have all those old school tapes, you feel me? KRS-One, all that. Then I went into CDs and all that.
CDs, yeah.
But like even when you started doing graphic designs, right? So like I want to understand how you worked for your pops, and then like how did you eventually transition into creating in visionary design? Like,
well,
how did that happen?
So I was working for my dad. He wasn't paying me a lot, but I was getting a lot of experience. I got married, and then I had my first child. And I'm like, Dad, you're not paying me enough. This isn't working out. So I had to let myself go and get a real job. So I ended up working for a coffee shop for like a week or two. Then I ended up getting a job at an accounting firm called Ernst & Young. So they had a creative department in there. So we're like 3 of us working, doing stuff. So I learned a lot there working with that firm. And then I moved from there. I moved to like a design agency. And I ended up, so I worked there for a couple of years, and I ended up like getting out of that and selling cars for a couple of months. I went into sales, so I had this weird like space where I was into sales, because I was living in the Bay Area in California, and so I wanted to transition up to the Sonoma County. So I was like kind of hopping from one job in the middle, and then I moved up there.
Okay.
Well, the way I started, long story short, is I was working for a print shop in pre-press, and I learned a lot about the printing industry and how that works, because you could be a great graphic designer, but unless you understand the printing industry, which is really important, your designs are not going to work for printing.
Okay.
So I got yelled at a lot by the pressman in the back. He'd print, bring back these big press sheets, and he would write nasty notes and say, you fucked up, you screwed up, don't do that again. So I learned a lot. But what happened, and I got fired from that job eventually, and that's when I started my business in visionary design. It's like the next day I went out and started my business. I went out, I hit the road and found my first client.
So what was that experience like? Did you have any expectations in starting your own business? Like, what was your vision? You just like, I'm gonna just make this happen.
I gotta make this happen because, rent's due. At that moment I have 2 children. So I had 3, I don't remember. I had 2 children. So I had to bust ass, I had to like make it happen. Like there was no option. Like I had to make work. So that first day I got a little business card job. It was like $60, and on the way to the client, the day after I got fired, on my way to the client, I got a traffic ticket. So I'm off to a good start. So, and then I just hit the road and I make connections, And there was actually a job that came up, and within half an hour, I hustled so hardcore. Within half an hour, I showed up to the business. I saw this post, like, hey, we're looking for a graphic designer. Within half an hour, I drove like 15 minutes away, and I showed up at the business. I'm like, I'm here for the job. And the guy's like, damn, I just put that post up like, half an hour ago, and I got that job. So that's how I was like getting work. I was just like
news. So you was getting work through looking through the newspaper, like what?
Yeah, newspaper. It was the internet. Connections. Talking to people.
What was connections?
Like referrals. Like, hey, talking to people that I knew.
So how did people even know that you was a graphic designer early on? You just kind of like...
I just let people know.
Okay.
I printed out some business cards, and I just told all my friends, hey, do you have a business? You need some work? Boom, I can do this. So I kept like connecting with people. Okay. You just have to just talk to people, network.
Just branding yourself and kind of getting yourself out there, and just like staying consistent, handing out business cards,
doing posts.
Because at that time they didn't have like Facebook or anything or Instagram where you could post your work.
2005, around that area,
Okay, so you was on MySpace posting probably.
Oh God, no. That's like, that place is like a dirty alley, man. It's just so bad. I never got into that. It was just so good. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that place.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like I'm in a dark alley,
Yeah.
I was gonna get jumped or something.
Yeah.
Get some disease.
I remember that.
So, yeah, it's kind of weird. We didn't have social media. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Facebook. So you just had to talk to people. You had to call people. You had to email people. You had to like connect with people. Go to business mixers, things like that.
Okay, a lot of networking events.
Yeah.
So where you met these networking events? Like me, I usually go to all of the city events. I look up all the Chamber of Commerce events. That's kind of like how I built my whole clientele base. But that was like my second form of building my clientele base. My first form was just like my family, my friends, my family, clubs and like churches and stuff like
Once
that.
you do a few jobs, if you do a good job, then it's easier to get referrals because the client is going to be like, hey, check this guy out. You did a great job, or they look at your work. And so you sort of, that's how I built it. And in fact, even up to now, I've relied on referrals. Like, so I have a great Google My Business reviews. I have great reviews on Google. So I have about over 40. I have 2 bad ones. But I have, most of them are great. So people now, if they find, they go, graphic designer Fort Lauderdale, they find me right at the top there with the great reviews, and then they see that, and then they click and they call me.
Okay. I get a lot of calls like that too. Reviews is always good. Google My Business is a good thing.
And always ask for,
So, all right. So let's you going fast. So I'm just trying to break down your process.
Okay.
And like acquiring clients earlier on. So acquiring clients early on for you is like phone call, doing great work, referrals, word of mouth, hitting these networking events. Basically presenting, like, is that right, or where I'm at with it? I
mean, you just have to get in front of people. I mean, it's a numbers game. You just have to get in front of. I mean, early on, like when I was early on, I didn't do any of that stuff. So I was at home working, right? So hoping somebody would call me. That doesn't work.
It doesn't.
You gotta just go talk to people. You go find where people are at. You hit up all your family and friends. And then they're gonna get tired of you. But it always works out. Like you always meet people somehow, like a I want to call it divine appointment. Like if your heart's right, it seems like you end up in the right place at the right time, talking to the right person, and it's always been that way for me. Like I've always relied on this,
grit, just grind. Like that's where I'm at with it. It's like that's really what I do. Like that's my strongest point. Is like I just went out there, put myself out there consistently, keep taking pictures. Even if I was working, even if I was getting paid or not, I would show up at events and take pictures. Yeah. People would know me. They'd ask for my card. They'd ask for pictures. And I send it to them. Or they'll sign up.
Basically,
just constantly showing up.
You get in front of people.
Yeah, just showing up.
Like RJ, you're there again. You turn around, you're there. You turn around, you're there. I mean, that's how you sort of have to be everywhere.
Be everywhere, exactly. Yeah. Just constantly showing up. Just staying consistent.
Especially when you're starting out.
Yeah, staying consistent, showing up everywhere. And even now, I still try to show up. Not everywhere, but almost everywhere.
I got to say, I'm not into business mixers, honestly. Yeah. Personally, I don't like them.
Yeah. I do business mixers. Just being here is business mixers.
But
just walking around the
business
streets.
Mixers. The network groups.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not too. I don't like them too much.
I've done a couple of networking groups.
Because you get the type of clients that I'm looking for. I don't find them. So I don't find them at those events, if that makes sense. So so right now I'm looking for higher end clients. Bigger businesses. Like high end clients, but they don't show up at these mixers. So you have to go somewhere else, or find them another way. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother
different
problem.
But it's just like what you're saying though. If you stay putting yourself out there, a lot of times they find you. Yeah. They find you through word of mouth. Somebody that finally refer you, and somebody might ask them like, "Oh, I need somebody." It's like, "Oh, I know somebody." Yeah. This annoying guy that keep telling me to take his pictures or headshots. Like literally, like just doing that alone, you'll put yourself in the right spot, and people are gonna see your work, and people will find you. So from then to now, what have changed? Like as far as like the way you get business, the way that you bring in business to.
So now it's been amazing. Like I just moved to Florida about 8 months ago, and I sort of. Here's another thing. You got to be focused. Like, because back in California, we're on a property in the country. I had a shop. I had a welding shop. I did welding. I did art cards. I did all kinds of other stuff. And I wasn't really focused on the business because I had all these other things I was doing. Because I'm creative. I want to do stuff. I came to Florida. I live in an apartment. I got nothing. I got no workshop, no art cards, nothing. I'm just like home, business, home. And that's all I'm doing. And that's actually been one of the best things that's happened to me is like, is taking away all those distractions, all this extra stuff that I want to do, and just focus on the business. So to answer your question is, I got my website dialed in, my SEO dialed in. I got work it so when someone calls me, it goes directly to my phone, directly to my computer. I can answer within minutes. I'll answer or respond, and I send them a link to my calendar, and boom, we make an appointment for I do a 45-minute free strategy session. So they can call me up, we'll talk for 45 minutes. I get to find out what their business is all about, and then we can figure out if I'm a fit for them or not.
Okay. Do you have a form or something they got to fill out before they do that 45-minute strategy session, just to see if it's it's even worth your time?
I do it. Yes, I have it on my website. I have a whole bunch of questions that I ask them. I basically pre-qualify them because because what I found is that I get a lot of spam. So I have to deal with spammy stuff. So what I did is I put some roadblocks. So if you're serious about talking to me, you're going to fill out the forms, or else you can't get to me. So I make it a little bit challenging for people because I want to weed out the riffraff, so to speak, the spammers and stuff. And that's actually worked.
Yeah.
So I got one today, and he actually filled out all the information, and I get to see what they're looking for.
When he submitted, yeah.
What the budget is, because that's important. Because oftentimes I've lost clients because I throw out a budget, a price, and they're it blows them out of the water. Because I never asked.
Yeah.
You gotta ask, what's your budget?
Yeah. Yeah, I've asked. So that's why I do the form as well. And I learned that over experience. I used to get people to just call me directly, and they're just hey, I just want to do this video, and it's I got this idea to do this. That costs a lot of money, man. Video production is to have a team, and you have to plan everything. It's pre-production. You have to literally plan everything that you're doing before you actually shoot. So, and then you have to shoot, and you have to have a team to shoot that production to properly
the right time,
light everything and frame it. That's a team. And then you have to go into post-production where you have to take all that footage and make it into something that makes sense.
30 seconds, 60 seconds,
Exactly. And it's what is knowing your budget, if you say I've had many people say, oh, I don't have a budget. It's
bye. Come back later when you have a budget. I've told that to people.
Yeah.
I can't help you. If you don't know what you're going to spend, I can't help you.
Yeah.
You got to actually, if you're a business owner, you got to know your budget. You got to know you have a marketing budget. You have you got to know these things.
Yeah.
Or that actually tells me that they're either starting out, they have no idea. That's most big companies hey, we have a marketing budget. It's XYZ.
Yeah.
And then you can work from there, but.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that I just learned today. That's even better. So even when we do have that conversation and someone says they don't have a budget, it may not be a good fit at all, because if you don't have a budget, you probably won't be able to afford our services, because it does take a lot of work. And then even another thing too that I recently started doing with my clients is I work on a monthly basis. I don't necessarily do one-off projects, and I've done plenty one-off projects, but it don't necessarily help them. That's what I've learned, me working with somebody. If I'm doing a one-off project, it's gonna have to be something that's worth it. But it's really, really hard to learn somebody. Not learn someone. You have to learn the actual entire company. So you're learning multiple people.
Yeah.
You got to learn about the company, and then you have to learn about the audience. Because you could learn about the company and you could, tell their voice and make sure you have all the correct branding.
Yeah.
But the branding is not necessarily for them. You want them to represent them, but it's to attract their audience.
Yeah, you got to know who the avatar is.
What's the avatar, man?
Avatar is who your client is. Gender, age, your audience is certain parameters that, all your clients fit a certain parameter. That, mine are, for instance, startups or existing businesses that need a rebrand. I mean, that's typically the two of the clients that I get. So knowing who that is, then you can dial in your marketing to help them. If you know their pain point, you can say, okay, now all my marketing goes towards solving that problem. Because that's what we do. We solve problems. So knowing what problems you're solving is very important.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're solving XYZ, but it's actually ABC, you're wasting your money. You're talking to the wrong crowd. It's like a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
So you got to know who your audience is. That way you can tailor. You can hire you. Say, okay, this is my audience. Age group, age range, whatever it is, certain parameters. I mean, Facebook does that.
Yeah.
When it targets you. The algorithm figures out, puts you in a certain category, and then the people doing the Facebook ads, you start to do ads, and then it kind of dials into, you fit into some sort of category.
Yeah. Were you doing that in the beginning of starting a Visionary?
No, we didn't have Facebook, man.
I'm not saying even Facebook. I'm just saying like an avatar, even thinking even knowing who your avatar is.
No, I didn't do it. Marketing for me is a recent thing. I've only done marketing only within the last 8 months.
Wow. Okay.
And I've been in business. I've been doing this stuff for 26 years. So what I've relied on is, word of mouth, and I want to say this is kind of woo-woo, but it's like divine appointments. Mm-hmm. Like somehow, my wife and I call it funky money. I end up meeting the right people at the right time, like almost like miraculously. Like I don't know how it happens, but it's like I end up at the right place, and it's like I'm supposed to meet them. And it works out.
We met each other that way.
Yeah.
Randomly. I was going out the door. You was going into the door. And you said, hey, what up? And I said, what's up?
That's what I do, man.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you look like you create content. Well, he said something, and I was like, yeah, I create content.
Yeah, I mean,
you said something.
I walk by your office all the time, and I'm kind of like, looking over, like seeing what you're doing. I'm always like checking people out, like, what's going on there? Something's interesting happening over there. I'm like, I'm always doing this thing, Actually, for many years, I was driving by this place back home, and it was like, there was a business there, it was an agency, and I was like, man, there was something about it. I was like, for years, I would drive by, and I was like, man, there's something going on in there, and I want to be part of that. I'd never met the guy, so finally, when I had my business, I started my business. Eventually, after I actually just decided one day just to go in there, say, hey, you don't know me, but I just felt like I was supposed to come in and introduce myself. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I'd love to work with you. And he's like, he looks at me, he's like, this is so weird. He had just gotten an account, like a big bank, in that local bank. So he just got that account, and he was supposed to rebrand them. And he needed help. He was actually looking for a graphic designer, and I literally walked in at the right time. And it turns out that he went to school with my graphic design teacher, and they graduated from UCLA in 1971 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like best buds. Oh, Michael Cole, blah, blah. And it was like, yeah, he's my teacher, blah, blah. It was like the funny. So it was like I was hired on the spot. So that's what I'm talking about right there. You just got to be like.
Got to do it, man. You got to push yourself out there. Got to be willing to do it. Like you could have just kept driving by that place. But you went there and you.
But
like,
that one day I was like, I got to go in there right now, and that's how I do. I have this like. I rely on like gut feeling and like the sense I'm supposed to do something. And I've done all kinds of interesting stuff in life because it was like that. Like I felt like I was like, I got to learn how to weld, and I ended up learning how to weld. I welded for like 7 years. Like I found this book about people that decorate their cars. Like I'm like, dude, I got to do this. And then like 2 years later, I had this idea to cover my whole car in pens. So I had a pen car, Mercedes pens, for 15 years, and I talked to all kinds of people. So it was like, that was my market. It's just like, I think I got to do this, and I just like go do something, and I end up at the right place. So it's kind of been
That's me.
I ended up in Florida.
That's why we connected, right?
Yeah.
Because that's literally like, if you talk to Raul or you talk to Ab, anybody, anytime I say, okay, like even this podcast, I told Al, I was like, yeah, I'm about to start a podcast. And we on episode 7. Literally, as soon as I said it, I just did it.
I've always wanted to be on podcast. I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't. I was too I didn't want to do the whole setup. It was too much work, But to be on a podcast, like the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, I woke up 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I got to do 1,000 podcasts. I mean, literally, that's the thought that came in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second one. I did one like last week in some radio station in England. I got another one this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So like I put it out in the universe, like I'm going to do 1,000 podcasts and I'm going to end up on Joe Rogan's show. That's like my goal.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
And you right here with us.
Joe Rogan, call me.
You right here on Choose to Create with us. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
You know, so
Every podcast
I appreciate you though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy. Like I appreciate your time. Like you spend. Like I don't know if you know, like like the energy and the time that you even like. We all busy.
Yeah.
We all got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So
You're welcome, man. This is fun.
You take your time, like not only just here, but like in the office. Period. Like I may be coming out my office, you may be coming out your office, and you take time to say what's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ain't gotta say what's up.
Oh, I like people. I'm a weird in the sense I get energized by being around people, but I also get like I need my alone time, which is I do. Like that's my work. But then I'm like, oh, I need to like I had that sense again to get up and I need to walk around, and that's when the magic happens. Like I get to see you again. I run into you. I'm always running into people like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is like my life, and it's like a magical thing that happens when I get like, ooh, I got to get up and do something. And I start, I get all like weird. And then I go walk around. I don't know why. I'm randomly walking around. And then I meet somebody. I like met Jennifer. She's over there. Just the other day, we started talking. She's from California.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy
Small
across the
world.
street from my office, he's from California. We're California refugees. We escaped California for better life in Florida.
And came to Florida, man. Florida's the best place in the world, man.
man.
I gotta love it here. It's great, man. It's like for me, man. Just even coming to this office, I was like, I gotta be here because the energy is so creative, and even us. Like I don't know if I ever told you, but like before COVID and everything like that, I mainly did event photography. I had a whole event company. I don't know if I told you that.
You did. And everything just.
Yeah, and I lost the whole company, and I built the whole company here.
Wow.
Right here.
So you're rebuilding again.
No, we're already 2 years in.
Okay. Wow. So
Yeah.
you built it.
Here at 2020 in 2020. So we lost the company, the first event photography company and event coverage company here in 2020 February.
Wow.
Lost all of our clientele, lost all of the business, and had to rebuild. And then we rebuilt everything here in March 2020. So everything shut down in February, and we started rebuilding in March.
But let me ask you, was that the best thing that ever happened to you?
Yeah, it actually was, man.
Isn't that weird?
It actually was. It was scary at first. The
Yeah.
first 2 weeks, because of so much the news and everything, and I wasn't watching the news, but like people keep telling me about it,
Yeah.
and it was like affecting my my
Got it?
energy.
Yeah. No,
and
it's
I
not
was
good.
like, I gotta be creative. I gotta go create. Like I can't do this. Like I can't live in fear. I can't do this thing. Like I can't be thinking like everybody hates me. Like that is hard for me to believe that. I'm RJ. Like how could you hate me?
When the lockdown happened, my first thought was, I'm gonna get it. I got a job at Home Depot. Like the week of, I'm like, I'm not shutting down. My business might shut down, but I ain't got time to shut down.
Yeah.
And so I worked there for months, with a mask on. I was doing, customer service. And then it was weird. Literally, I woke up one morning. Again, it was one of those like, oh, I wonder if there's any welding jobs. And I'm like half asleep looking for welding jobs. First thing in the morning, like out of with my one eye open, I'm like half asleep looking on Facebook, and I found this job, and I applied, and I got a job as a welder, doing like table bottoms, like so like I turned a hobby, 7-year hobby, into an actual job for 6 months welding like these. They make these beautiful tables out of wood, like slabs, and I'd make the bottoms, metal bottoms. So it was one of those like.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's all about applying yourself, putting your best foot forward, and going out there and just making it happen, and not making any excuses. It's just basically what the podcast says: choose to create. Go out there and just create something. Like why wait?
It's not. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. Yes, but there's also that part of it, like, you have to, like, follow your gut. Like, that's, like, really important. Like, you have a sense, like, dude, I got to do this, right? And it's something that's something gets a hold of you, this idea, and you just gotta. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I think I'm going to do that, because...
You can't go into it, like, nonchalant.
No, you got to be like, I got to do this, and you get really like, Rrr. And then that's the times where I've, like, I got to do this. I don't know why. You know, I don't know why I'm gluing pens to my car, but I got to do this. You know, I don't know why I got all this welding equipment and I'm doing this. I don't know why, but I got to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I have to, you know, like...
Only make moves when your heart's in it.
Yeah.
Only make moves when your heart's in it, because you can't wait.
Yeah. And then you always... It's like, man, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that. Every step of the way, I'm always glad I did. You know, every time I got let go from a job, I'd go home, tell my wife, I'm like, hey, honey, I got promoted. She's like, oh, great. Because that was the universe saying, okay, you're done with this assignment. Now I want you to do something else, something better. And it's always something better that comes out of something.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I lost my job, I was like, oh, time to start my production company. And that's where we started event photography. It was time to start the company. As soon as I went out there, I went out to the Urban League, met my mentor, started getting more work going. Okay, now we flowing, we rolling. But it's like really just, like you said, doing it, but you have to have some type of like something that's gonna drive you into doing it. Like when I like creating is like that one of those things, having a vision. Yeah. Like a lot of people, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to even have a vision. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And having a vision is sometimes really it's annoying. It's crazy because you got to figure it out. Well, sometimes it's so big you don't even know how to explain it. Yeah. You don't even know what's going on, but you got to figure it out. So then it becomes a whole mission on how can I make this vision that is just like some abstract craziness. How can I make it make sense to me? And then how can I make it make sense to other people?
You look like, a lot of times we look like fools. I mean, you look like freaking maniacs. Like, what's up with that guy, dude? He's on a mission. Like, he's crazy. Like, you have to be crazy because we're in this space where we get ideas. We get like downloads, like the universe. You know, you either believe in God or if you don't believe in God, you like the universe. You know, you whatever. I don't care. But it's like you get like a download from somewhere, and it just grips your heart, and you got to do it. And you have to do it. You have to do it.
There's no, like, it's crazy. Like, even everything that I'm doing right now is literally from, like, some sort of, like, vision. And it's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Like, literally, I had so many different visions. Like, I remember one time I had a vision where it was, like, it was an angel on one side, some type of, like, demonic spirit on the other side, and they was fighting for me. And I was like, what side do I want to go on? I'm going to go on the bright side. I'm going on the light side. So, like, all that meant to me, it was like some type of weird vision, right, in my dreams, was
it a dream then?
It was a dream, but it was a vision because I felt like I was, I don't know, it was like I was asleep, but I was awake, kind of. It was like I could see it.
Like, it was totally different than regular, something, it was
I wasn't
extra.
awake.
It was extra.
Yeah, it wasn't, I was not a, like, hair conscious, like, you feel what I'm saying? I was like sleep. But as soon as the vision was done, I woke up, I was like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Oh, wow. I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. Anything that's like not helping somebody or anything that's like negative or anything that's like destructive, that's what I'm not doing. And everything that's productive, that's what I'm gonna be doing. So since then, I was just like, okay, it's a little weird trying to figure that out. Yeah. But just basically everything that I started doing was just basically productive. Anybody that was on anything that was not productive, I just was like, all right, cool.
And
I can't be around that.
You can feel the difference.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like when it's like in our family, it's like I bring something home. It's like, hey, honey, what do you think about this? She's like, throw it back. You know, like me and my wife were like, if we have an agreement about something, it's like, bam. Yeah. Like I signed up for one time I signed up for a network marketing thing. And first thing she's like, oh, I'm not feeling that, Costas. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it anyways. And it sucked. So I was like, I mean, I read a lot of books, but I didn't do anything. It was terrible. So I had to so that was a good lesson to remember. Like when your wife, your partner, or your significant other, your wife, if you're in agreement with something, agreement is a powerful tool. When you're in agreement with somebody, mastermind group and stuff like that, then you can do amazing things because it's not just you making shit up. It's like you have other people who are
you have to be in agreement, and that's one of the things that I've got from that vision is like a lot of times like my heart was in a direction of creating something, and the agreement between a lot of people that was around was not in that same place. So I just had to find other people that was in agreement. And then even like with my lady that I'm with right now, it's like, bro, she's so amazing. It's like her vision is so clear. Like she has a clarity in vision. I'm like, hey, what you think about this? I always shoot like the same thing. I shoot my ideas. She like, oh, this is amazing. Like so encouraging. She probably just encouraging me because I'm a guy, but I mean,
but it's important.
I believe her.
It's important because if she gets a hold, if it's easy for her to get a hold of it, if she something about this idea like attracts her, it's going to be the same for other people too. Yeah. You're not gonna have to like try to make it happen because it's like naturally like, oh, this is a great idea and it makes sense and it feels good, and there's light on it. It's the best way I can do it. It's hard to describe these things.
Yeah. I was like, baby, I'm gonna start a podcast. It's like, really? That's a great idea. It's like, oh. That's it. I was like, no.
Now you're here. Now we're here. Number 7.
I say, listen, that's it. I don't need no more cosigns. Cause a lot of times once I have some type of thought and vision, I just do it. Yeah. I don't necessarily. It don't have to be perfect, right?
Oh, we can talk about that. Like.
Perfection. Are you a perfectionist or are you a person that just gets it done and then figure it out? Because you got to start somewhere. You got to throw something on the canvas.
I'm a perfectionist.
But then you just got to keep working until it's perfect. I'm a perfectionist,
but I got to kick myself in the head to say, just do it. Yeah. Just like start, like learn a little bit and just start doing it. And so it's what's the term? Get ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because I've had times where like doing this podcast, I want to do it, but I thought about it too. Well, like IG Reels. Okay, so I want to use IG. We learn how to do that. And because it has to be perfect, it's got to be branded, it's got to be all these things in my head that there are all these like rules and things I got to do that I never do it. And I went to this, Choose to Create thing last week, right? And we talked about IG Reels, and there's a group of us, we're all doing it now. Like I'm posting, I posted several.
Yeah, that the last one that I just seen was really funny.
Which one?
Something about when you at the red light, honk the horn. Oh, yeah. As soon as it turned green.
Well, the 3 rules for Florida.
Yeah.
So the first one is if the first guy goes in front of goes through the red light, so can you. Right. That's number 1. Number 2 is like as soon as it turns green, you got to honk because you got to let the guy in front of you know. Because
we in Florida, everybody, 90% of people on the road is probably on some drugs, or they texting. They're texting their phone. Oh, God. You didn't know that.
Oh, I see people text. I see people text. I'm like, and then the third one is like if you're crossing the street, you got to remember rule number 1 because everybody's going through the red light, so you got to like give it a couple of seconds, to clear out, and then you can walk. Yeah. Man, because it's like if you're pedestrian here, you're like your hands in danger. Your life is in danger.
Yeah.
You got to be like always like scanning. Because,
oh yeah.
And then it's like this is actually the U-turn. I call it the U-turn capital of the world. Like,
like you can do a U-turn anywhere.
What the hell? Like, what's up? Like everybody's like U-turns. Like I saw 2 U-turns. I saw a U-turn on that way, and I saw like within like seconds 2 U-turns happened. It was that. I was like, okay, U-turns. That's what's happening. Now the U-turn. Like every day there's a U-turn. I don't know what's up with that. People are like,
Yeah, but for sure, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like it just took for you to do it, and I commend you on that because, like, even with me, it takes me so long to post, and it's just like, okay, just post. Yeah. Just post. I got so much pictures. It's got so much content. It's like, just post it. Don't worry about the caption. It's right. Sometimes in the morning, though, sometimes I come up with some really good captions. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I got one. Now I just got to find a picture to match the caption.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like sometimes it hit me randomly where I finally get a good caption and I could post. But yeah, man, it's not even thinking about the perfection of it because sometimes my spelling be wrong and I gotta go back and change it. But it's just like the action of staying consistent and just doing it.
Taking action. Like I'm actually reading a book about how to write comedy, how to write jokes. You know, so I'm reading that, and so that's perfect. So it's for me. It's functional. So I get to practice. You know, work some bits out, and some things that I think are funny, and just do them. And so, you know, telling you the 3 things about the Florida thing with the lights is like, I get to talk about it and practice it, like, because I love to do stand-up one of these days. Like actually do like a bit and do a little bit more and do 5 minutes and 7 minutes. So the IG and the business and the
that made us laugh. That definitely made us laugh. It was a group of us.
I got
it was about 3 of us. And
all right.
I mean, we was watching we was here, like Raul was like, "Hey, he did it," and then we was all here and we was looking and we were just laughing and we had to watch it again. We watched it about 3 times.
That's funny. That's good. Thank you.
Seriously, it was funny. I mean, I was just watching it and I'm just giving you feedback. Cool. But nah, like really and truly, man, like with building and visionary designs and you've been doing it for a while now, and even like how you said you started marketing now like 8 months ago. Yeah. Like literally, I just started marketing like probably like a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a content creator. Like I always relied on meeting people and just networking and just like that's my number one. That's my number one way of like connecting with people. But
now
still
you're turning up the knob of those, so you want to get more flow in your What do you use for marketing? What's your what do you use for marketing?
My main marketing is just staying consistent on social media, posting on social media, and then taking that same content and putting on my Google My Business. So that way I'm easily found on Google My Business. And then as well, taking that same content and creating a blog on my website. So that way I'm creating like multiple pages on my website. I may have like one page where it's a blog and then I say read more, it clicks and it goes to another page on my website with more written, which is SEO type of stuff. So it's just like slowly doing that type of stuff where organically people could find me,
stuff works.
Answering questions and stuff like that. And looking for, I go to Answer the People. So I may go, if I go to Answer the People, I may put in video marketing. And then it has a bunch of questions that people usually would ask about video marketing. And then I would just like answer those type of questions in different blogs for social media. Like that's how I do like my social media and stuff.
Taking notes.
Yeah, that's what I do with my clients as well. Like that's what I do with everybody. Just like really, I just try to figure out what are people searching, what questions they're asking,
where do you get this
and
info?
answer them.
Where do you get this info?
Where Answer the People.
Answer the People. Okay, so that's the place where you go find what people are looking for.
What people are asking online, the questions people are asking online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it work? So you go there and it shows you what people, or you type in some topics?
You could type in any topic.
Okay. All right.
Literally. I do that with everybody I work with. I do. But it takes for you to do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that because I'm curious about what.
Seriously.
You know, I mean.
You go online right now. As soon as we're done here, you go online, go to answerthepublic.com and type in graphic design.
Okay.
And then they'll show you all of the questions that people ask about graphic design.
And then
you put graphic designer. You put the on there. And look that up.
That's great because
and people will be. You have a list of questions.
You and I we're problem solvers, right? So the most important thing is like figuring out what the question is.
Yeah.
So if we can find the question, we can then answer the question because that's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Solution based, like everything that we like. So that's the number one thing too. Anybody that works with us, you have to be solution based. Like we're really good at pointing out problems. That's great.
Yeah.
But what's the solution?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's my thing is like always one of my mentors, he's like, oh, you stop thinking about the problem. It's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Figure out the solution. You know, there's many solutions. It's not just one solution either. There's plenty of solutions.
I believe you get paid more to solve problems. Be solution oriented than say, okay, I do this, I do this, I do this. But if someone doesn't have a problem or a problem to solve, then it doesn't matter what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, because a lot of people early on, they say, okay, this is what I do, and then you have a hammer, everything's a nail, right? Mm-hmm. So someone comes to you, they want a website, I'm a graphic designer, I do logos, you're gonna need a logo. Mm-hmm. So you're always hammering logos, but you got to listen to people. You got to figure out what they want, what their goals are. What's your 4-year goal? Ask people like, what do you see yourself in 4 years?
Yeah.
And then
I just want a graphic design. Why are you asking me that question?
I mean, but
how much does it cost for a graphic design? Why are you asking me this?
Because the thing is, I say that because a logo might not be what you want right now, but what you need is a strategy to help you get from A to B. Like, okay, so you're at A, okay, and then you ask them, where do you want to be, which is B, right? In 4 years. Okay, so they're here and they want to be here, and there's a big gap. There's a big, gap in between. So your job is to figure out how to bridge the gap, right? To build the bridge. And the only way to do that is you need a strategy first, and then it's like, okay, based on the strategy, we're going to need a logo, we're going to need branding, we're going to need ABC, whatever it is, and then they'll help you get there in 4 years. Boom, done.
Man, that's exactly it. Literally, that's exactly it. Yeah, I just want a video. Why do you want a video? Like,
where are you going?
Where are you going? Like, where are you trying to go? I'm going everywhere. I was like, it's like, oh, like, all right.
Come back later.
It's like,
come back later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's like either it's like find a way to, like, noticing those red flags, and like how you said, come back later. And that's what I needed. That's what I needed. That's what I feel like I need to get better at. It's just like, okay, noticing the red flags, asking the questions, and then if they can't answer it, then it's not a good fit.
Because as creatives, we wanna do it all. And as soon as my problem is, I should say, is that when a client starts talking, your mind immediately goes to like, oh, he needs a logo, and you start, like, you're talking to a client, you're already working on the logo. That's not the right thing. You need to, like, listen to what they're doing, listen to where they want to go, and maybe a logo is what they need, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe what they need is marketing. Maybe what they need is something, video, whatever.
Yeah.
Or they need.
And if they need something else, you connect them with them. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, that's really, like, that's one of my main things that I do. Is like, if I hear something, it's like, okay, this is what you need. Connection. Yeah. I'm dot connector. Yeah. Yeah. Those just connect those dots.
Well, I think sometimes people don't know what they want.
Sometimes they don't know what they want, and that's why I won't connect the dot. Because if I connect them with somebody and they don't know what they want, then they're going to be a headache for somebody that I just built a relationship with, and then that's going to make, no, I don't want that. I wouldn't want that for them.
What if, as a problem solver, you help them find out what they want? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's when you go into strategy.
Yeah, that's when we go into strategy, and that's a strategy is just kind of like having a conversation and just kind of like getting to know what they want, digging deeper into their vision of what they're trying to go to. And sometimes for strategy, sometimes they have to include whoever the business partners are and whoever the other people that's involved, because you don't want to go through a whole the decision makers, get all of them in the room, because like you don't want to do a strategy with just one decision maker and then he brings them to the other decision makers and they're like, what is this?
We're not doing
it's
that.
Like, yeah, it's like,
what we're doing.
No, like, first let's get everybody in the room together and let's collaborate and come up with, let's have some clarity. Like you say you make this, let's get some clarity on who you make this for and how you want them to feel.
That goes into like brand,
so I can understand
brand messaging.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother thing you can do.
Yeah,
like what is your tone? What is your voice? Who you're talking to. What does it look like? For instance, different brands have different looks and feels because they go after different clients or different customers. Like, so figuring that out is important because, I mean, you wouldn't have Ernst & Young, which is a conservative accounting firm, very serious. You wouldn't have them doing like Nike videos. Slam dunking, numbers. I mean, it's a different crowd, so you got to know your crowd.
Yeah, and that's really like even with everything that we're talking about here, it's like, okay, who is your audience? Who's your crowd? But really and truly, it's more than a graphic design.
Oh yeah,
it's more than a logo. It's not like a logo. It's not like a design. Yeah. It's not a website. It's not a video. It's one part of your whole entire thing.
The strategy.
Yeah.
The strategy could say, hey, we need graphic design, we need marketing.
We need a logo.
Yeah, we need a
logo.
But
we need that logo to fit into the puzzle.
Exactly.
So if you just say, I just want a logo, and then we just go in without having those questions prepared and like being able to then go in as an artist and be like, okay, I know what they want. Yeah. And I know who they're making
Most
it for.
Customers
and I know how they want them to feel. I know how they want them to feel. That's gonna inform you on how to use the fonts. What type of, like for me with video productions, like what kind of music, what kind of pacing, how are we gonna shoot it, like everything, the frame, the frame rate,
The
everything,
filters, the color,
the colors, the lighting. It involves everything. As far as like, if we don't know that, a lot of people don't want to answer it. But just like how you said, it's like, oh, it's not a good fit.
You're selling like shoes, and you get a like, I don't know, and you get some video that's totally different genre. It's like, no, that's not what we're doing. Or you're selling like you're a plumber, but it ends up looking like a rap video. I mean, that could be kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Do like a rap about plumbing. Like.
But that's
in that front yard. What's that? It keeps. That'd be kind of fun.
It depends if they want to work with rappers. It may be a plumbing company that want to work with rappers.
Can you imagine a rapping like plumbing video?
I could imagine that. I know some plumbers that's some rappers out here, man.
You get a butt crack. I don't know. Big guy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, and just learning and just growing in the design industry is like very, very, very fun. Yeah. Very, very, just like I said, problem solving is like one of the creative. That's where I get my creativeness from, and it's like, how can I figure out this problem?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate that I get paid to be creative. And what's funny about this business is like, it doesn't happen from 9 to 5 whenever your hours are open. It happens like when you go to bed. It happens when you sleep, when you get up, when you're in the shower, when you're walking around. Like the creative process for us, I think, happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard, because how do you charge for that? Like I'm in the shower having ideas for this project. How do you charge?
I'm in the shower.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'd be having to like, oh, hold on,
shower
find a pen
time,
and paper. Like
coffee time.
I'd be having to write. I'd be like, hold on, let me write.
I know.
Write this down. Let me write. I'd be having to write everything down. I'm like, oh man.
But we're
I don't
in
want to lose the
business
idea,
because we can do that. We can literally, like, it's part of our being. It's not something you clock in and do it. It's like it permeates everything that we do, like all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird. It never ends.
Yeah. Life of an artist. So if you guys want to be an
happen.
artist, just know that it's not a 9 to 5. If you plan on working 40 hours a week, and this might not be the actual industry for you. You might want to go to school, get a good degree, and get a good job. But this right here is not necessarily like, oh, I'm working 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week. I feel like I'm basically living this 24/7.
I don't even track my time anymore. I used to, but I don't. It's like it's totally stupid to track your time.
Yeah.
Like, people ask me, when are you going home? My wife, when you coming home? Like, when the work's done.
Yeah.
That's when you go home.
Yeah, that's a good answer. When the work's done, baby.
That work's done. It's never done. So it's never done.
Yeah. Nah, 100%, man. But I appreciate you.
By the way, always get the 50% deposit before you start a job. That's like, I had to throw that in there.
Oh, 50%.
Yeah, always.
Non-refundable.
Don't start until you get the money.
Yeah, non-refundable.
Oh, I like that.
Non-refundable, because you're working already.
Yeah. All right, just want to put it out. For the kids, like, hey, get the money. Yeah.
I've been there before, where I started working before I got paid, so I understand. That's another thing that you just got to make sure. Yeah, get that 50%, get the money.
Get the money.
Then work.
And if they owe you money, hey, Mr. Customer, there's a check inside that door with my name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like Dog the Bounty Hunter when it comes to, like, I get into my, like, I'm after it, like,
because we got bills to pay,
That chick's on parole, and I'm gonna collect.
We got bills to pay, so you got to make sure you get us together, so we can make sure everything can keep this thing moving, But yeah, man, I do 100% appreciate you, jumping on the podcast. And like, how can everybody find you and follow you?
My website's called Envisionary Design. envisionarydesign.com. You can find me on Instagram, Envisionary Design, or Costas Schuler, and everything's connected. If you do a Google search for me, an image search, Costas Schuler, you'll find all my art and my projects and all my goofy things that I've done over the years. Yeah. I've been on National Geographic, Smithsonian Channel. I've done interesting things. I've done acting and commercials, and I don't know. It's interesting. So I'm easy to find. I'm the only one in the world with that name, Costas Schuler. So listen, if you can't find me, then you have issues. You need to learn how to use the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So. And you're gonna have access to all the links. They're gonna see all the links on the post.
Yeah.
You're gonna have backlinks, so you can easily find you through all the links we're gonna set up for you.
Perfect.
All right.
I was happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yes, sir.
I've done 2 podcasts so far. I got 998 to go.
Let's go. We almost there.
Almost there.
Choose to Create Podcast, episode 7. Peace.
Peace out.
Yo.